Greetings and salutations, artisans. It is I, Wolfotek, and here we go with another awesome video. I've already recorded this once before, but I didn't like how I did it the first time, so there you go. This box is actually for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 2nd edition. This is the Stormstrike starter set. And I'm actually just trying to get through the stuff I have in my backlog now. I have a huge backlog. But yet again, that's normal for people who get into these kind of things. This starter set is actually rather nice. You have a nice little display on the back, plus a little image of some of the stuff some of the models you get in this box. This box does not have an MSRP on the backside, but that is normal for Games Workshop as of late. When you open this box, this inner tray slides out. Please note that the inner tray is the piece of terrain in the box. It is actually a well-constructed box overall. In the box, you got the sprues, as well as a set of 6 dice to get you started. You have one sprue, 2 sprue, the small ones, and then you got a double sprue. For the Myrmourn Banshees. And then you have two halves for the Stormcast Eternals. By the way, I've seen people cut up the sprue and rebuild the chunks of sprue into bricks for their displays and stuff like that. That's actually rather cool. In the box, there is this right here. As I said, I've recorded this once before. So I've already opened it once before, at least. Everything. This is the playmat for the battlefield for your little army. There is 2 sides, as you can see. There's one and then the other. Throw that on top of my bed. And then you have some books in here. And this book right here is the Stormstrike book. And then right behind it is the basic instructions and the battle cards. The war scrolls, yes, that's what they call them. In this packet right here, since I've already opened it once before, there's actually 2 books. There is the Stormstrike book, which is over 181 pages. So there's more pages in this book than there are in each of the books for Spelljammer 5th edition for Dungeons and Dragons. So this gives you a good idea what we're talking about when we are talking about the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Spelljammer books. It has beautiful artwork throughout. Gets you into the taste of Warhammer Age of Sigmar 2nd edition. You got Nagash over here, Bony Boy, the God King of all necromancy. That's what I kind of just refer to him as. A little display of various armies. You got a lot of Nighthaunt and a lot of Stormcast in here. Got a section on paints and painting and assembling, playing the game. You got a little section talking about the Stormcast Eternals, the Legions of Nagash. The Nighthaunt is a sub-faction of Legion of Death Grand Alliance. You got painting miniatures. You got a few examples of various other miniatures in here. You got a nicely detailed and very well organized guide on painting. As someone who has literally college art credits for painting, this is actually quite a good guide overall for painting. It's been a long time since I've ever painted a lot of stuff, so it will take me a while to get up to 50% of my former skill level. But hey, that is something else that's fun to do. You got some of the miniatures, models in which you assemble and paint in here. They do a nice job of showing you the various stages of painting and the various paints that you use for it, as well as the names and the labels for them all. Then it goes through the battle plan section here, and it explains how to play Warhammer Age of Sigmar strategically. Teaches you the dice mechanic of the game, your movement, your shooting, your shoota phase. You have to say shoota, not shooting. It's Warhammer law. The crypt, beautiful. Hallowed Grounds, Battle Plan 4. Yet again explaining a whole bunch of stuff. They show you some really nice advertisements for various items you might want to purchase or not purchase. Goes into the lore for the setting at the time in the 2nd edition, the Soul Wars, and it just keeps on going. There's just tons of stuff in this book. There's always some artwork every so many pages. There's another section talking about Nighthaunt, and you end up on the last page with Glaivewraith Stalkers and the Myrmourn Banshees, which is the two groups of units in which you get in this box set mostly. The Myrmourn Banshees are great for anti-spellcasting, and they're your pinch hit for spellcasting, and they are also one of the few short and semi-short range shooting units. You got a core rulebook. This is the slimmed down core rulebook. And this is, people wonder about how complex Warhammer Age of Sigmar is, or Warhammer 40k is. You could really condense down just the core structure of the game to a book about this thick. The hardest part is probably just remembering all your tactical maneuvers you can make with your units and keeping track of all your stuff as you go through the rounds. This book starts with the core rules. It explains basic terminology, the battlefield, setting up the armies, units, battle plans, war scrolls, tools of war, rerolls, roll-offs, etc., and so forth, generals. And it goes into the battle rounds. There's a little tracker right here for the battle rounds. And you have the hero phase, you got the movement phase. It is mostly one page to each thing, but you go into sometimes 2 pages. So the movement phase has 2 pages. The attack phase has 2 phases. You got your spellcasting rules here. You got rules on terrain, as certain types of terrain have effect on the battlefield. You got some basic battle plans like First Blood, which divides up. You got one faction on one side, you got another faction on the other side. So whenever you see red zone, blue zone, you know that's your dividing line, the factions. You got a section describing war scrolls, the keywords, how to use them. All straight to the point. You got another section talking about examples of war scrolls. I will show you some. Realm of Battle. Nice little display down there. And so forth. Allegiance abilities. And that's it for that book. The first time I did this video, it took me way too long to go through it. This comes with a measuring stick, some war scroll cards, by the way, and a transfer sheet. You got this little hard sheet that shows off some of the stuff you can purchase for your 2nd edition Warhammer game, Age of Sigmar. You got some battle scrolls. These are actually somewhat out of date, but this is still useful as a collector item and as an example of what you would see in a war scroll card. The basic stats overall. As I said, this is out of date now, but you got Gryph-hound. You got some cards in here. You got Castigators, which come in here. Sequitors. And that's it for the Stormcast. And then you got the Glaivewraith Stalkers, which come in this box. The Myrmourn Banshees, which also come in this box. Got a Dreadblade Harrow card, which I do believe does not come in this box, but it's nice to have one, and just in case you want to play 2nd edition Warhammer Age of Sigmar specifically. And then here's the 2 stars of the Soul Wars or sets of Warhammer Age of Sigmar 2nd edition. You got Rancor, the Grimhailer. You got a beautiful scene of the model up front and some nice artistic art on the back side. And then this card actually folds open. You have your core stats right here. This is your basic wheel right here of stats. Your movement, your how many wounds, your save, your bravery score. Keep in mind that most undead are right around 10 for bravery, which means that they're incredibly difficult to scare off the battlefield. You got your various abilities written out here, onto here, and it continues onto here on this side. And then you have Estero Soulblight, or Soulbright. You got some nice artwork there, the artwork on the back side. And then this person is clearly more talented than Rancor, as they have a lot of stuff here, and it continues on the whole other page. Down here at the bottom, I kind of forgot to mention that this is actually your keyword section. Keywords basically key your abilities. So if an ability will have highlighted word here, there will oftentimes be a keyword tied into some other card right at the bottom. So when an ability procs within the restrictions in which the ability is related to, the unit that has the keyword can benefit or be harmed by said ability. So we're done with that one. And then on to this last thing. This is the assembly guide and basic paint guide for this set. You got yet again a quick overview explanation of various components here. Quick assemble. You got your units right here. You got the units for the brain fart. Nighthaunt down here. You have the instructions on the inside for assembling them. And then here continues on to the next page with more assembly instructions. And then right here, they happen to be really nice. They have various models with these tags right here are for the paint you use for each model. This, by the way, very important to note, this is only a suggestion. This is not law. You can go to tournaments and have your characters painted differently than this sheet, and you're perfectly fine. Don't worry about matching colors exactly. As long as you have like 3 or 4 color tones painted on your character and they look somewhat decent, most people are fine with it. You got the instructions for the Nighthaunt units. And then you have the same thing on the back side. I'm going to actually get closer for the Nighthaunt one. Got the Myrmourn Banshees. You got the listing for the colors that are used for them. And then it goes on to the other side. And then you have the other. So this is actually rather nice. They clearly took their time to set these sets up in a fashion in which new people who are interested in getting into the game can easily get into it, and they have very clean, concise instructions about how to construct and paint all their models. And you have handy dandy playing aids in here, and so forth. The only thing to note on top of this is that this is a small set, and this is probably too few models to play in a tournament or even a small league game. This is just like, hey, here's some units. You can have like a tiny skirmish battle if you want to start with this Storm Strike set. If you truly are an absolute new person to it, you have to go for the larger sets and to get your good start running into the game. So there you go. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month, and see you next time.